Salut YouTube. Et oui, il faut pas s'attendre à ce que ce soit nerveux ou quoi. On prend son temps, etc. Mais je trouve que l'écriture est cool. Il y a tout un univers avec un contexte, un contexte politique assez poussé sur des questions politiques qui sont pas forcément toujours prises en compte, enfin traitées dans les jeux en général. Je trouve que c'est assez cool et l'aspect RPG est aussi assez bien branlé avec ton personnage que tu vas pas toujours pouvoir maîtriser parce qu'il va lui manquer des points en santé mentale, en ceci, en cela qui font que des fois il y a des jets de dés qui vont t'obliger à prendre des décisions que toi t'aurais pas prises, etc. Ce qui rend le tout, ça fait vraiment un bon un jeu d'enquête film noir à l'ancienne assez cool. Moi j'accroche beaucoup.
Now, per our original agreement, it's time for me to share company secrets with you.
Il y a un changement dans son comportement, elle devient prudente, tendue.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
C'est quoi cette histoire de bain de sang?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, man, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Quel lien y a-t-il entre le lynchage et la grève?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad
Bravo.
to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Donc c'est pour ça que le mec il avait une armure qui n'était pas du tout celle d'un vigile. Vous avez besoin d'un détachement de sécurité?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Cronell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
C'est vraiment les meilleurs gens à déployer dans une situation comme ça,
what
quoi.
happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
Alors l'enquête c'est justement d'enquêter sur le cadavre dont elle est en train de parler, qu'on n'avait pas réussi d'identifier jusque-là. En gros il y a une grève qui a lieu dans une usine et il y a un cadavre qui est retrouvé derrière un bar juste à côté, pendu à un arbre. Et donc moi je suis envoyé pour essayer d'élucider ce meurtre. Sauf que mon personnage, visiblement, il a un genre de mental breakdown et il part sur enfin, il se bourre la gueule pendant 3 jours au point qu'il perd la mémoire complètement. Et au bout de 4 jours, du coup, on envoie mon coéquipier là qui vient d'un autre commissariat pour m'aider à boucler l'enquête. Et le mec se rend compte que je ne sais absolument rien, donc on reprend l'enquête à zéro. Et ce qu'on a réussi à déterminer, c'est qu'il y a 7 personnes qui sont venues porter le mec jusqu'à l'arbre pour le pendre. Et que le mec, il était lié du coup à l'entreprise qui possède l'usine qui est en grève, dont elle est représentante de cette entreprise. Donc elle essaye de savoir aussi ce qui s'est passé. Et ce mec-là, c'était censé être un vigile, sauf qu'il avait une armure de combat qui faisait plus paramilitaire que vigile. Donc c'est pour ça que là on lui pose la question et donc elle nous dit que c'est un mercenaire. Et voilà. Et aussi, en même temps, j'ai plein de soucis à régler parce que j'ai créé une ardoise de plusieurs centaines de pièces en pétant tout dans le bar. J'ai perdu mon flingue et mon insigne quand j'étais bourré, donc il faut que je retrouve ça aussi.
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now.
Et donc c'est possible que le syndicat donc, qui organise la grève et qui se comporte un peu aussi comme une mafia à rançonner les commerces locaux, c'est possible que ce soit eux qui soient à l'origine du meurtre. Mais pour le moment, on n'a aucun élément substantiel.
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Pas très disco. Alors, est-ce qu'on s'associe à leur enquête, sachant que c'est quand même c'est une entreprise quoi. Nous on est censé être indépendants. Vous avez semé le bazar.
It was the Union who strung him from that tree.
Une
My
vague
hope
s'écrase
is
contre
that
le
you
bâtiment.
provide a single concrete suspect before Crenel indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
Oui, donc en fait vous avez peur d'une guerre civile parce que c'est vous qui allez la provoquer.
They would have to project strength and power.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
Mais clairement en fait t'as tout un problème d'enjeux politiques parce que t'as l'entreprise qui a envie de régler son truc, il y a le syndicat qui fait un petit peu blocage. Là en plus on est tombé sur un réseau de trafic de drogue. Les flics, il y a 2 commissariats qui sont sur l'enquête, on est de 2 commissariats différents et il y a un peu un concours de qui est la plus grosse quoi. Donc il y a tout qui est rassemblé pour nous.
Work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Est-ce pas un scénario assez sinistre que vous décrivez?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia.
Ah, ça va de me prendre de haut tout ça parce que je me souviens plus de mon nom.
All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Ok, donc il faut absolument que je trouve quelqu'un rapidement. Que pouvez-vous me dire sur Crenel?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Il n'y a pas forcément à faire gaffe aux victimes collatérales.
Yes, all the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Ok, vous pouvez me dire autre chose à leur sujet?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ACP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Pourriez-vous contacter l'entreprise pour qu'elle les rappelle?
I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
Donc en gros là il nous reste 2 paramilitaires assoiffés de sang sans supervision.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Vous avez dit que le défunt avait agressé une femme.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Que vous ont dit ces adolescents à bord du canal?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Ah, c'est peut-être pour ça que la serveuse elle revient pas, peut-être c'est elle.
That's a good
Et qui
question,
c'était cette
officer.
femme?
I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You'll meet her soon enough, you
Ou
feel.
peut-être pas. Ce colonel qui s'est fait pendre, vous le connaissiez?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
Il s'appelait...
Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He
Nom de
wouldn't
guerre.
divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Parlez-moi d'abord des autres.
One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
C'est quoi cette question?
I can't remember.
Il y a une pointe de regret dans sa voix.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see
Ah.
if she knew him better than she let on.
Il est meilleur en
She
psychologie que moi.
passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or
Oops, pardon.
gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Où se trouvent les 2 mercenaires restants?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages.
Super.
It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
On doit pouvoir découvrir où il se cache.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
97% de réussite là-dessus. Où sont ces mercenaires?
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the
Ah bah oui,
idiotic slogans.
la montagne de muscles,
He's
bien sûr.
barely maintaining his disguise.
Qu'on trouvait bien chelou.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
L'un doit être le gros bras avec des vêtements de travail qui ne lui vont pas près des portes du port, le chef des roufions.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
Ainsi, on va les faire dégager de notre terrain d'investigation. Hein.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
Un autre se trouve probablement dans un bâtiment qui donne sur le rond-point.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel.
J'ai une autre question pour vous.
I hope I can answer it better.
Combien de temps avons-nous?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks.
C'est tout pour le moment.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Pouvez-vous désormais me parler de ces tatouages?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
Elle tend la main par-dessus le cap de la rambarde et prend la photo qu'elle tient dans sa main.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Restez silencieux, observez l'expression de la femme.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Qu'en pensez-vous?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
Elle en montre une sur le papier photo.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Comme des embranchements sur un microcircuit.
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
À quoi sert cette carte?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
Celui-ci n'ira nulle part sauf à la morgue.
The times have changed.
Quel voyage a fait l'homme mort?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnese Islands, then this.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Qui pourrait m'en dire plus?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Ouais, mais on va les convaincre qu'on est dans la même équipe.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
J'ai besoin de l'information. Je note, interroger les mercenaires sur les tatouages.
Do what you have to do, detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security, But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
C'est tout pour les tatouages, merci pour votre aide.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Merci, ce sera tout pour le moment. Ok, alors, donc on a progressé, interrogé le chef des Roufions et les tatouages de la victime. On a gagné un point d'expérience. J'avais pas envie de... Qu'est-ce qu'on a d'autre comme conceptualisation à faire? La 15e Indo-tribu. Ouais, pas... D'accord, ça c'est de la réflexion sur les groupes industriels. Non, ça ne m'intéresse pas pour le moment. Revenons. Bon, nous on est plutôt un cérébral de toute façon. La logique, ça m'a ouvert pas mal de portes. Mais là, il va falloir... La projection analytique, c'était bien ça. Et là, il va falloir convaincre les mercenaires. Peut-être que... la rhétorique serait plus à l'ordre du jour. Et qu'est-ce qu'il y a, Kim?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Oui, ma chambre d'hôtel m'appelle.
We can pick up where we left off tomorrow morning.
Ok, fin de la première journée d'enquête du coup. Il faut que je rentre à pied. Alors je me demande si il y a moyen de se softlock, genre tu rates un événement au premier jour et au 5e jour tu te rends compte que tu peux pas réussir. On va se faire les mollets. Retournons au Whirling in Rags. J'ai toujours pas de chansons tristes sur bande, je vais pas pouvoir faire de karaoké. Faut pas lui parler.
Can I help you?
Au revoir. Ok, remontons à la chambre d'hôtel. Et Kim, il dort avec moi ou comment ça se passe? J'aurais dû contacter le central avant. Bon, je contacterai demain matin. C'est vrai qu'il y avait une femme aussi.
The door is closed. Still no answer. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. He doesn't like where this is going.
Ok, ok. Je voulais juste interroger les gens du coin qu'on n'avait pas vu encore.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Bonne nuit, lieutenant.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Et tu t'invites dans ma chambre? Bon, allons-y. Ah non, sur le balcon, c'est là.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
Je savais pas que vous fumiez, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Ça me donne envie de fumer. Il vous reste des cigarettes?
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
Ah donc tu escomptes qu'on finisse ça en 2 jours? Comment êtes-vous devenu si cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easy to simply quit.
Ouais. Moi, je suis en train d'essayer, ça marche pas. Hein. Bon, ce débriefing.
Yes. It's been a long and eventful day.
Que pensez-vous du déroulement de cette journée?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it.
On t'entend à peine avec la musique, mais c'est pas grave.
Our inspection was also very thorough, and we've already started following up on leads. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate. But we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime
On le
scene.
décrochera demain, le
That's
cadavre.
great.
Though he wishes the body were out of the tree, he doesn't want you to feel too discouraged. Probably out of fear that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
Ne vous inquiétez pas, Kim. Demain, je serai prêt pour enlever ce cadavre de la cour.
I look forward to that. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Claire, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We interviewed Joyce Messier, the Wild Man's Rep, and learned a lot. None of it very good news for us or Martinez, but above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Je m'entraîne pour une course de fonds. Je veux collecter des fonds pour une association caritative.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age.
Non mais ça va aussi.
And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
C'est disco, mon gars. Quels sont les pouvoirs de la MCR exactement?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Ne serait-ce pas un pouvoir dont il serait facile d'abuser?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station.
Donc on va pas arnaquer les citoyens pour payer la chambre d'hôtel.
Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
D'accord, quoi d'autre?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
Je vois, et si quelqu'un résiste?
We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal.
Vous avez déjà tué quelqu'un, Kim?
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
T'es froid, Kim, putain. Tu me fais peur. Est-ce que j'ai déjà tué quelqu'un?
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility.
Je sais pas si j'ai vraiment envie de le savoir.
Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
Ah,
He's not judging you. He's respectfully acknowledging the difficulty of working in your precinct.
d'accord, donc nous on est police partout, justice nulle part, quoi. Qu'arrive-t-il aux personnes que nous condamnons?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in qu'on and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
Et qui fixe toutes ces règles?
The coalition government and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Disons qu'elle a été créée par les citoyens de Revachol.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
C'est quoi la morale interne?
The Moralists International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
Si je ne le savais pas, comment les décririez-vous?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
En quoi croient-ils?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Qui était Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
Quel est leur symbole?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
C'est marrant, ça veut dire que myosotis en anglais ça se dit forget me now?
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous.
Que pensez-vous d'eux?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Vous aimez la morale interne?
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
C'est un autre leitmotiv associé au moralisme.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
J'ai un avis sur la morale interne.
Do you?
Le lieutenant arque les sourcils puis tire une bouffée sur sa cigarette blanche et fine entre ses doigts. Alors, sacré lancer de ville, montrer la ville des doigts, on a besoin d'eux ici, comme ça ils pourraient nous donner le droit de fliquer et vachol. Ils ont merdé ici, vous avez vu cet endroit, ce n'est pas de l'humanisme. Nous sommes les larbins de la plus grande organisation bourgeoise du monde qui protège les droits de la bourgeoisie. Murmurez en silence, les immigrés, les kipps libéraux, les putains d'hommes qui se transforment en femmes. Ok. En y réfléchissant bien, je n'ai pas d'opinion, oubliez ça. Bon, on va plutôt être... parce qu'on est en train de conceptualiser une nouvelle vision du communisme, donc on va plutôt répondre... Nous sommes les larbins de la plus grande organisation bourgeoise du monde, qui protège les droits de la bourgeoisie.
No. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Ça me suffit d'être un simple justicier.
Then you will adore Martinez. For many of these people, the Union especially, vigilantes is precisely what we are. Personally, I don't enjoy it much.
Ne rien dire, vous contenter d'observer la nuit.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Pourquoi ils sont comme ça?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts.
Et à Jamrock et au PIGR?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
J'espère que notre enquête contribuera à améliorer la situation ici, à faire au moins un peu de bien.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Un petit peu. Merci.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Putain, j'ai encore gagné un niveau. exécuter la logique. Et en avant. Pour finalement mettre un terme à cette première journée d'enquête. Au revoir. C'est là-dessus que je dors.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Se glisser dans le lit.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come.
Ah. C'est l'insomnie.
And then sleep doesn't come.
Pourquoi?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
J'examine l'oreiller.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly.
J'examine la couverture.
It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing.
2 secondes.
Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily.
Je me retourne.
It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
Qui l'a tué? Qui?
Something to do with... What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves.
Arrêtez de penser, c'est l'heure de dormir.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Je suis en train d'halluciner. Le cadavre va me parler. Et c'est moi, pendu à une boule disco.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
Je suis né dans un hôpital où les gens se rendent généralement pour mourir.
You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
On m'a abandonné.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
Je m'en souviens.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium.
Qu'est-ce qu'Elysium?
Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Je t'ai déjà parlé avant.
No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do, even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spot spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
Je peux en revenir.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown? Who are you kidding?
J'essaie de résoudre cette affaire.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new
C'est vrai que oui,
type of
j'étais censé picoler vu que je suis alcoolique et j'ai pas bu avant de dormir. Donc, bon Dieu, il y en a une autre variété.
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
On joue vraiment un personnage qui est empli de joie et d'amour de la vie.
Good going, buddy.
C'est donc ça qui se passera lorsque je fermerai les yeux à présent?
Yes. Wait till you see the one with the chick in it. It's gonna be a good one. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
De quelle meuf tu parles?
You don't know? You don't know? Some broad that messed you up. It'll come to you. It always does.
Bordel, qu'est-ce qui tourne pas rond chez moi?
You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Qu'est-ce qui m'arrive?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
Non, ça va aller, je vais pas me mettre à chercher du speed.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
Tu mens, je peux très bien y arriver sans speed, personne ne va mourir.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Ok.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Ça sert à rien de tenter le jet et de le rater. Ça va me déprimer plus qu'autre chose. Conservons ce sourire figé. Un nouveau jour commence. Ah bah là il y a le syndicat qui est rassemblé. On va pouvoir poser des questions. Hello Kim.
Morning.
Il vous fait un petit signe de tête.
Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them.
Que voulez-vous dire par chahuteur?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the Union. These men here, men who drink beer for breakfast, there's talk of an armed wing of the Union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them.
Ils sont si nombreux. Et si on appelait des renforts?
That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Débardeurs Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head.
On va pas jouer les gros bras. Ce sont les types dont Gert nous a parlé hier.
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep.
Ah, toi aussi.
It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
Pourquoi devons-nous leur parler?
Everything points to the dock workers' union. The belt used for hanging him, tracks in the mud, the circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information, which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Non, mais on va aller parler avec eux.
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first. But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
On va aller leur parler, poser des questions tout de suite. Bonjour.
Let me handle this.
Dit la femme à la foule rassemblée dans le hall avant de se tourner vers vous.
Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. I advise you not to overstay your welcome.
Her entire character has shifted.
L'hôtel, c'est celle qui était devant la veille. Je voulais juste en savoir un peu plus sur cet endroit avant d'y faire un tour, il n'y a rien de plus normal.
Yes, extremely normal. I'm not a gardener, by the way. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does.
Elle désigne l'homme à sa droite.
That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming. Nothing official. The district of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
Non, mais on va la jouer cool.
It doesn't matter if you recognize
La ferme
our
Kim, par contre.
authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
Viens, on se fait pas écharper tout de
She
suite.
says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
C'est quoi votre rôle dans tout ça?
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems?
Et si c'était à vous que je voulais parler et pas à Titus?
What you want is of no significance,
D'accord.
officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinez, you are no one.
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean you have to say it. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Je ferais mieux de parler à Titus dans ce cas. On va jouer selon leurs règles.
This is where you say your bit.
Un homme à la carrure imposante vous désigne avec sa canette de bière.
Detective.
Le lieutenant vous adresse un signe de tête entendu. Il vous laisse gérer. Ne rien dire pour le moment.
Hey, dipshit. You hard of hearing or something? The boss man's talking to you.
Do not let their squeals disturb your serenity. These are but simple peasants, sire.
Il faut qu'on parle de l'homme qui a été pendu.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that won't.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for a million.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them. Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah oui, tiens. Scrutez la pièce.
Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man. In his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. Eldest in the room. Probably mid-50s. Smoker. Quiet. Across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43. Gang tattoos. Mesk or Sarah Mauritian. In his late 30s, early 40s. He spent his youth in Villa Labos, a housing project in the Jamrock quarter. There were incarcerations. Hard to say what else. The ink is fading. And then, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 46. The big dick. Wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips. Rugby cap. Fingerless gloves. And numerous scars. A little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain.
Et il me semble que le mec il a été pendu avec une sangle d'aérocargo ou un truc comme ça.
In the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum?
Et le petit type.
Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy, boot size 46, deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He, alone, is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy.
Il en manque un, la drôle de semelle.
Exactly. The missing lady driver who was running the drug trade. Does it mean the Hardy Boys are involved in the drug trade as well?
Pas forcément, la conductrice aurait pu mener son trafic de drogue dans le plus grand secret.
Maybe. But hey, you've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Now is a good time to hit them with questions. Where's the 8th Hardy?
The fuck is with you, fella?
J'ai découvert 8 paires d'empreintes de pas, mais vous n'êtes que 7. Où est le 8e Hardy?
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire. He really respects her.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like the lieutenant thinks so too.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. And you're not cops here Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
D'accord.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
J'ai parlé à Joyce, le mercenaire que vous avez pendu. Eh bien, ses potes vont venir vous faire la peau.
Yeah. My friends. You mean his squad mates from Cronell.
Donc les mecs ne nient même pas qu'ils ont pendu le mec.
Wouldn't want to beat up his grandma.
Ouais, ils sont en train de constituer une sorte de tribunal et ils vont venir vous trouver.
This is what happens if you take the law into your own hands. Other people start doing it too.
Let them come. The Hardy boys are right fucking here.
You heard the man. Right here. We're armed. We got the whole district behind us, and Glenn. Glenn is fucking crazy.
Yeah. A well-oiled murder machine.
Les mercenaires sont équipés d'armes automatiques.
We got weapons of our own. We got Ister 50s, Zila guns. Glenn's
Le
got
mec me
a
donne tout,
knock
quoi.
cannon at home.
Leurs balles peuvent percer une armure en céramique.
I guess we're gonna see.
That was an unsure phrasing.
Qu'est-ce qu'on verra qu'elles rebondissent dessus?
Yeah, like you've been up against ceramic armor. You haven't even seen the whole suit, right? I've seen the whole fucking thing, and it didn't make him immortal.
Joyce a dit qu'ils ont constitué leur propre faction, personne ne les contrôle.
Big fucking surprise. They hire psycho scum, arm them to the teeth, and let them loose in the city. What do you think is gonna happen?
Cette histoire de Crenel, ça sent pas bon, vous le savez, pas vrai?
So are the local gangs, the fucking Barmy army, and the Madre scum. You've been out there. Seen any around?
Oui, pour le coup,
Yeah.
oui.
Where are they now, huh? Sent back to Madre in an airtight cargo crate.
Bah, la nana que vous vouliez recruter avec vous, par
These
exemple.
people are trained military professionals with decades of combat experience. They are not a gang or a barmy army.
No, they're not. They're uncoordinated and drunk. We know more about them than you think.
Ok.
What do you mean, okay?
Ok, ils vont vous laminer, Titus.
No, they won't. Get out of here with your negative energy.
He really doesn't like you ruffling their feathers like that, on what might be the eve of battle.
All he means is that the situation is serious.
No wonder you cops get shot to shit every day. Can't go to war with an attitude like that.
Devinez quoi, j'ai établi un lien entre vous et un trafic de drogue local.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grâce?
No, the thunder is his. Leave it to the lieutenant.
Non, à vous l'honneur, vous l'avez mérité.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yes, but that just sends everyone else to Jamrock, doesn't it?
Vous avez simplement refoulé tous les camés vers Jamrock, vous en avez fait notre problème.
We haven't done anything. But theoretically, it has to be someone's problem. So it might as well be yours.
Titus, I'm amazed. Where is the same professionalism when it comes to other topics? You're doing great. I hardly have to interfere at all.
I don't know, Lizzie. I guess theoretical things don't make me emotional. Now, was there anything else? I was sorta gonna get my brewski on.
Not quite yet, Mr. Hardy. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardy boys here.
La 8e Hardy, celle qui manque, c'est elle qui mène la barque, exact?
My answer is fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
I know! Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
C'est quoi que j'ai eu là? Vous venez interroger les hommes du syndicat des hein? Mais j'avais un truc confronté. Ah putain, j'ai débloqué un truc, j'ai pas vu quoi. Merde. Le type pendu dans la cour, c'est votre œuvre?
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about
Bon, ils me l'ont déjà dit, mais je fais toutes les choix de dialogue pour voir.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Pourquoi le cadavre a-t-il une sangle de conteneur autour du cou?
Container belt, like we use in the harbor?
Oui, pourquoi?
Because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back and used it to hang him. We did this together. All of us. Until he was dead. That's why there's a container belt around his neck.
Ah, donc vous venez juste d'avouer le meurtre.
Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
Pourquoi l'avez-vous tué?
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town.
Donc c'était un mercenaire, n'est-ce pas?
And he stepped out alive.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
This one has a special
bombe,
gripe with him
man.
coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hired merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
Pas si vite. Comment savez-vous qu'il était dans les forces spéciales?
Cause one night he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm Oranese goddamn special forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all.
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there. sang some RE's paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Ok, mais en dehors du crime contre le karaoké, qu'est-ce qui a vraiment fait de mal?
Wrong. He harassed women,
Voilà,
raped
c'est ça
one,
qu'on veut savoir.
harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why the strange de-escalation? He regrets mentioning it. Hopes you didn't notice.
Ouais, il a noyé le poisson. Ouais.
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. And that was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
C'était la même fille qui l'a agressé sexuellement, violée comme vous dites?
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them talk about it.
Et dans ce cas, il a violé qui? C'est grave comme accusation.
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
Ok. Quand cette malencontreuse pendaison a-t-elle eu lieu?
You don't have to answer any of his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Depuis combien de temps connaissiez-vous la victime?
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for White Pines? The same company you're striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what?
This is where he tries to sow discord between you two. Because he knows the company is responsible for bringing the mercenaries into town.
Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Ok. Qui donnait les ordres cette nuit-là?
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Pas besoin, l'un d'eux était davantage complice que les autres.
That's for the courts in Les Jardins to decide. Not for the officer making an arrest. Which we all know you won't be. What you can do right now is go back to your station and write a report.
No. We'll stay here and discuss what happened that night.
Vous l'avez tué simplement comme ça, sans aucun remords?
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol under the coalition. During the suzerain's reign, it used to be the firing squad.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
Dans sa bouche, ça semble pire que la mort. Et Cayenne, c'est quoi?
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
Honnêtement, je picole tellement que je me rappelle pas de qui j'ai bien pu mettre derrière les barreaux.
Doesn't remember them. He just forgets. Are you hearing this, Titus?
Ain't no use keeping a stiff catalog in your head. That's for sure.
Bon, on fait quoi maintenant?
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder. Even if it is a group responsibility, we're going to look into this.
Ils essayent tous de se mettre en bouc émissaire pour laisser la 8ème partir alors que c'est elle.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
Rent-a-cop? So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals.
Faire preuve d'autorité, j'ai que 42%. Ok. Faut que je lui montre qui c'est le patron. J'aimerais parler de nouveau de la pendaison.
Again, just get the dead guy's autograph, since you're his biggest fan.
Good one, Titus.
Comment l'avez-vous tué?
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still.
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school and many more of active service. This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Dites-nous en plus, vous l'avez bâillonné? Personne ne semble avoir entendu le moindre cri.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
C'était pas un tueur professionnel, un ancien des forces spéciales oraniaises? Si oui, comment avez-vous réussi à le maîtriser?
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie. I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Où exactement avez-vous réussi à prendre le dessus sur lui?
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
Titus lets the others clear out the details, so he doesn't get his hands muddy with explaining too much.
J'ai d'autres questions sur du lynchage. Je tente le G.
Actually, they're admirably, surprisingly composed. The entire room. Given how many questions you've lobbed their way.
Tous, l'un d'entre eux a peut-être la bougeotte prêt à craquer sous la pression.
Well, this one, but he's always fidgeting, so don't get your hopes up.
Bien, j'ai d'autres questions sur du lynchage.
Like what, copper?
Et si je vous arrêtais tout simplement? Non. Ouais. Si, parce que si on est vraiment dans un truc de compétition de mâle alpha, j'imagine que je montre que j'ai des couilles.
Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
Voilà.
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert dominance over you.
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant tries to establish eye contact with you.
Tout doux, discutons.
Wise move. You made the right choice there. Now make another one, and get the fuck out of our booth.
Plus d'autres questions.
About fucking time.
Bref, je reviendrai avec d'autres éléments pour lui mettre la pression. Je vais mettre les voiles. Et merci YouTube d'avoir suivi cette VOD.